Hey, it's Future Him here editing. Quick heads up before you dive into this episode. It is going to be split into two parts. We went deep on this one and it felt kind of wrong to cut anything out with Paul. So I've kept it whole and split it across 2 weeks instead. If you'd rather listen to the full thing in one shot, I will post the complete episode a little bit later. But if you can't wait, part 1 is going to be right here and part 2 will drop next week. All right. Thank you guys for listening, as always, and enjoy the episode.
Yes.
Nah, I can't. It's sticky, bro.
Yeah, you don't want to stick your iPad for 3 hours. Let's question.
Sticky. Right. Paul, look at the camera.
When we're ready, bro.
You want that one?
Yeah.
And you want that? Yeah.
I'm not messing.
It's because he set up a DJI thing as well.
How's the little one?
Good, mate. Yeah, he's doing great. Yeah, he is. What day are we on? Friday. Yeah, we got 12
Friday.
weeks on Tuesday.
Is that it? I thought it was old. Oh,
It's a blur, innit?
it flies. Yeah. Sleep. How's sleep?
Sleep's not too bad. I don't know what this move is. I'm just doing that. So, to be fair, I was saying to him, like, me and Jess are sleeping in different rooms during the
Yeah,
week.
it happens.
So
Everyone
I can get
does.
up and
Yeah,
do
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So I can't complain too much about that side of things. Like,
Yeah.
Jess is definitely more tired than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's the one with the breast, innit?
Yeah.
Is it breastfed or bottle fed? Yeah.
Breastfed.
Yeah.
Like, she pumps a bit so we can use the odd bottle here and there.
See, my one didn't take the bottle.
No?
Nah, I think we might have tried it too late. Didn't take the
How
bottle.
long? Like, when did you try it?
I can't remember, but whenever it was after a
straight,
couple of
bro.
weeks. Yeah, it's a
7
couple of
years
weeks.
We did.
Yeah, 2.5.
We did both straight.
Yeah,
Did it
nah.
half and half, yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, because we tried to give him formula as well. Not having it.
Not having it.
But I think he already was used to it then, wasn't he?
Yeah, when they start,
How old?
Yeah.
2.5. So 3 in November.
Nice.
when they start eating the solids, innit?
Trying to,
Shit's
is yours
are
potty
different,
trained?
bro. Nah, yours.
Nah, he shit on the floor the other day.
Are you trying? It's in the shit in the shower, bro.
Nah. Oh yeah, he's done that in the past. Yeah, he's done that. This is a new one.
She never done it. You know when you set up the bath, she's never done it in a bath. But she's in the shower, she's banging out a deuce. You're looking at it. It's like a chicken breast, bro.
Oh, dude. On the carpet as well.
Yeah.
Why did you do
I
that?
was hoping it would be like hardwood or
So
some
it's
shit.
got a toilet.
Well, you just sat there and
No,
just bang it out.
it's got a toilet on the toilet, like, you know, the little.
Yeah.
So then it's gone on the toilet. Apparently not needed it.
Got
Hopped
off,
off, and
then-
then just fell out of it.
So what is
And he was high.
are you trying to potty train him out?
Yeah, it didn't chip for 3 days after that.
Oh,
Yeah,
bless
they don't
him.
like
Was he
it.
like, oh.
Yeah. My daughter just had chicken pox, man. They're self-conscious, these kids. You know?
Yeah.
She's looking at herself and she was like, "Oh, it's red." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's gonna go." Girls are girls, isn't it? They're different.
Ready to go?
Yeah, everything's going.
Oh,
Oh shit!
this is what I mean. We did
This
that
is
chat.
the start.
don't know.
This is the pre. Yeah, this is the pre.
Yeah. So
Alright.
like overlap.
You ready to go? Hello and welcome back to the Coach's Hour, the podcast dedicated to helping you become the best coach possible. You're here with myself, him, and my co-host, Jawade Graham. So quick bit of admin before we start. This podcast is free. So no ads, no spam, pure value. So if you want to pay us back, you can give us something free. Leave us a review, like the episode, and share it with a friend who you think is a shit coach. Then tag us so we can all laugh at him or her. That's the exchange rate. So with that out of the way, most PTs don't have a money problem. They have a structure problem. They're working more hours, getting more clients, and somehow they still feel completely broke. Or worse, they finally start making some money and then they get slapped by tax, VAT, and realize they've got no idea what they're doing. So today we're breaking down the financial side of coaching, what actually matters, what people get wrong, and what nobody tells you. But before we start, we're joined today by our second guest ever, Paul Standell. And if you don't know Paul well, you're going to learn today, because Paul is an ex-muscle mentor, now runs the PT project, and one of our very good friends in this industry. Paul Standell, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. That's very cute.
And want to do a monster taste test before we begin.
All
Before
right.
we get cancelled.
These caffeine heads.
Jawade found a a flavor no one's ever seen before.
This one is not in like Chinese, right?
No, this one's English. Pink Punch it's called. Oh, Punk Punch.
Punk Punch. Yeah.
Punk Punch. We're gonna do a taste test.
All right.
Gonna get, what's it? Is it ASMR? That
ASMR,
Yeah.
bro.
Hang on.
there you go. We use that one. All right. Then. I reckon I'm not gonna like it. I reckon Paul will.
Sniff test it.
Kinda...
What's the smell?
Oh, that's not what I was expecting.
What is it? Is it grape?
No, it tastes like Love Hearts.
Yeah.
Oh, that refreshes
yes.
kind
Love
of.
Hearts.
Yeah.
That's a Love Heart.
Like refreshes kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
Sherbet.
yeah. Just the word sherbet makes me think of like my nan.
What's your verdict?
Let's go again. That was going to sound horrible. There is actually Monster on this mic, so I'm going to wipe this. And you might hear an awful noise.
Hold on, we've got a brand new mic
A mic
that we got especially for Paul.
Mic muff.
And within 12 seconds,
Yeah, I got Monster all over it.
He's wet the muff.
What do I think? 6.
yeah. So it's a bit too chemically for me.
Yeah, low to mid tier. Giving it a C.
I'm
It's
upset
£4,
now.
you know.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
upset.
it's £4. It ain't worth £4.
Yeah, I'm upset. I'm upset.
Like, I'll drink it. I'm not gonna not
Yeah.
finish this. This will be drank during this episode.
Oh, we go again. We go again.
But,
But it's
it's
White
nowhere near the
Monster.
white.
White Monster still.
White, Lewis Hamilton.
Oh no,
What is Lewis Hamilton, bro?
it's horrible.
that?
That's what it is.
That's fucking great. How dare you? Don't disrespect Lewis. Sir Lewis.
But what
He's
is,
got-
I can't even describe it.
I don't know what flavour it is,
Nah, that's it's just weird.
but it's great.
is it?
Yeah,
But
nah,
no one knows what
but-
White Monster is either. What flavour is that?
See, I don't really like white monsters either. You know, I'm more sweet. Like that's a bit chemically, but
White
I'm more.
Monster is like a lemony kind of flavor. It's like have you ever had that the white color, the Jude Bellingham Lucozade?
No. All drinks now named after sports people is what I'm learning.
That's what
from
sells,
this.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what sells.
That wasn't a thing when we were.
Branding.
There was no like Ronaldinho drink.
It just flew off the shelves. Flip flap. Yeah. Flapjack. It should have been a flapjack, shouldn't it?
He should have got sponsored by the teeth and lips, those
Yeah,
sweets.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sure he's actually sponsored by Pepsi. You know,
Savage.
was he not sponsored by Pepsi?
Ronaldinho sponsors the teeth and lips.
1 minute in, and he was on strike 1.
So good.
All right, let's get into this podcast.
This is a strong pivot coming up here.
Definitely. So let's start with I guess your business, Paul.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I saw was Dan posted something about was it Dan or maybe you, where you kind of like split your business in kind of like half, right? So you've got I think it's the mentoring side and the coaching side of your business, right? Is that just purely like a VAT kind of thing, or like how does that work?
Yeah, it was initially. So there was two companies. I've become the cliched person who's moving to Dubai, and therefore now there's only one company on this. Good times. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, kind of later. But up until very recently, there were two companies: Paul Standell Fitness Coaching Limited, and then Paul Standell Education Limited. And the idea initially is I kept my coaching business to just under 7K a month for like years, because I was also doing education initially for the Muscle Mentors, and then me and another guy called James, who obviously you guys know, set up the PT project, I think 4 years ago or something now.
Is that how long it's
Yeah,
been?
I know, it's just ridiculous. Isn't it? And so I was like, right, that was the focus on kind of growing those things. And this was just like my own coaching stuff. I wasn't overly interested in trying to grow that, etc.
So was it education like a combined thing between both of you?
Yeah. So with the PT project beforehand, when we ended up with an agreement with RTS not to sell mechanics courses and blah, blah, blah. So that drove a shift in my own business strategy within that. But before that, when we were selling workshops and courses and things, that's where the rest of my income came from. And I enjoyed that stuff. And I was quite content. I would probably average 10, 11K a month between coaching plus what the rest brought in. Obviously, some months where you sell a big product, there's a lump that comes in. And so education in a group setting is a little different for where the money comes from. But that's where that was. And at that time, the VAT threshold was like 85K a year, which basically worked out to about 7K a month kind of thing. So I was like, sweet, it's a perfectly nice life. You're not stressing about cash at that point. And I'd spent years at that area. Then when the PT project had to change, Dan Meek, who him just mentioned, was like, well, why don't we also just set up a separate company that is more about your one-to-one mentoring and education stuff for people? if you don't want to push this guy above the VAT threshold, should probably point this out. When you go above VAT, you lose a load of cash. So there's like a bit where it's just almost not worth doing it. And I'd always gone, right, if I earn 7K, okay, I have to pay corp tax and personal taxes and whatever else I want to do with that. But if you go to 8, you get stung with this 20% tax immediately. So, at 8, 20% of that is 1,600 quid, disappears immediately. So you're
You make less money.
I'm at 8, but I'm at 6,400. You're like, I'm better off staying at 7. To get to 9, you're basically just above 7 again, but you've got all the extra work required to do that. And so I was like, unless you really want to push it above and beyond that, I was just like, it doesn't seem that worth it to me because I'm doing this other stuff and I enjoy this other stuff. Dan's idea was then like, well, why don't you just have 2 different companies, one that's coaching, one that's education, take those both up to the VAT threshold, and then you've got 14 across that, but we're not being stung with that. So we set off to do that, did that actually quite quickly in a few months, which was nice. It only took like 13 years to be quickly successful. But that was
overnight
nice.
success.
Yeah, right.
Cliche.
So, it was literally one of those things. And I wish I knew this before, flat rate VAT is also a thing. Now, you'll hear different stories from different accountants on this, so I don't want to profess to be the person on exactly where this sits. But with VAT, you can, if you do normal VAT, the 20% thing, you can claim certain expenses back. But because we've got the kind of business where you're like, it's not like I'm buying loads of product and loads of other stuff. So claiming my VAT back on stuff is not worth that much versus paying a smaller amount in flat rate VAT terms, which as far as my accountant tells me anyway, was about 8.5%. If there's anything wrong with that, blame my accountant, not me, for those particular things. And I was like, well, if it's at 8.5, and you also, I think in the first year of paying VAT, get a 1% discount on that. So it'd be like 7.5% for the first year of it.
How kind.
Yeah,
How
it's very
kind.
nice. And I was like, well, that makes it maybe a bit more worth doing. So then made a decision of going, with the flat rate VAT, you get that up to 150K per year per business. So about 12 and a bit per month is what that would work out to. So we were then like, well, maybe if we push that up to 10 a month-ish for each and see how that goes. And that was a year or so after having made those kind of businesses and got to this down. I was like, well, let's see how that goes. And we did that in January of 2025. Yeah, last January. And then, again, that went quite well. And that was the 2 lots of 10. So it was at 20 by March. And I'd set that as a goal for kind of the end of the year. So I was like, oh shit, that's gone well. And then I started doing the maths on how much I was paying in tax across a bunch of different things. I was like, Dubai looks good. And so we kind of made that decision. Then my partner got pregnant. So we're like, well, I'd best delay that decision then, because she wanted to give birth in the UK around family and all that stuff, which I totally get. And so we kind of delayed that. And as of recording this, we move in about 3 weeks' time. So that's a broad strokes overview of that. I've forgotten what the initial question was though.
Well, that was kind of the initial question. And I think like there's quite a few jump off points there. And the one that I would like to start with is, we all know about tax, like there's loads of tax. So, and for me personally as well, I just got stung with a tax bill that I was completely not expecting.
Strong.
Yeah. And it was like, because again, I'm a company now.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm expecting corporation tax, whatnot. But then there's PAYE and national insurance contributions. Mm-hmm. And I did not account for PAYE and national insurance contributions.
How much were you paying yourself in dividends versus salary?
Well, my accountant, it's I think 12 and minimum 12 salary, 12 whatever it is, and then the rest in dividends. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was an eye-opening experience. So for you, do you have any strategies on like when you get an income, let's say you got your monthly figure, do you straight away put separate account or separate pot to make sure that everything is there when taxman comes knocking?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I should preface it by saying I was dog shit with money until I was about 30, and I'm 37, nearly 38 now. And didn't save anything, nothing. I was worth £0 at the age of 30. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, whatever my jeans I could sell were worth. So, if you're listening to this and you're newer in the industry, also, it's normal to be a bit shit with cash and to not think about these things. Assuming you then kind of want to, you've got to try and figure out, okay, how much if we're talking, are we talking sole trader or limited company, I suppose, with them? Most PTs listening will probably be a sole trader, I would have thought. And you get to this weird kind of in-between grey area where sole trader limited company is much of a muchness in terms of what you end up taking home. So, I don't know, somewhere between that 50 to 80K a year mark. It's like...
Same thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because it'll get sold to you as you should be a limited company. You're earning 5K a month or whatever, 60K a year. You should be a company now. It's like... Because your personal tax will be lower.
Yeah.
Because you can pay yourself dividends, and that's an 8.75% tax rate. You're like, yeah, that sounds great. Except then you have corporation tax.
Yep.
And so if you don't know the difference with it, if you're a sole trader, there is no difference legally between what you earn and what your company earns. You are the same entity, the same thing. So if you earn 60K for the year, you pay tax on 60K for the year like it's a normal salary type job. So you've got your 12 and whatever it is, tax-free, then your next chunk at 20%, and then the last, 20 grand of that, give or take, on the 40% kind of tax rate. So whatever the total of all of that is, minus your expenses and things.
Lots.
Yeah, you're going to pay tax on that. You can expense a load of things, and every self-employed person under the sun, unless you're about to buy a house, is going to expense the shit out of their entire existence. Be like, no, I only made £17,000 this year.
You want a mortgage with that?
Yeah, no, that's the hard part with it. So you'll pay tax on whatever the profit is from if you earn 60K, let's say you had 20K's worth of expenses. That's amateur numbers if you're an actual self-employed person as a sole trader. I didn't earn £40,000, no. Right? That's going to change. But you'd owe tax on the 40 grand that's left over within that. Okay, fine. Well, if you paid yourself that from a limited company, you'd end up with a much smaller personal tax, right? I'm like, I've paid myself 40 grand or whatever I paid myself. And I get 2 grand of that tax-free. Normally, by the way, if you do the dividend thing, you'll still salary yourself 12K and then you'll dividend the rest, right? Or Juade should have. I don't know what he was doing. Always accountant. Blame the accountant. We'll just blame the accountant for
We have to. I don't know what. I just got slapped with a bill, like literally.
Yeah, well, it's a good point. Like,
Yeah.
we're not supposed to be the experts in finance. Like, the point of having an accountant is to help you with that stuff and to figure out what you can and can't get away with, and for them to tick all the right boxes and classify each of your expenses in the right category for all the things that they need to do. And, if you're earning above 40, 50K, you should probably have an accountant, would be definitely advice that I've got for you. Some of them will rip you off and charge you 300 quid a month. You don't need an accountant that's charging you 300 quid a month. Like 100 quid kind of thing would be about right. I think there's people in the fitness industry who market themselves as fitness accountants. And the markup's high. I'm like, you don't need that.
Anything fitness related gets the markup.
It's like a wedding.
Yeah, it is a wedding.
Everything fitness related gets a markup, and it's just accepted. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've lucked out in that and not fallen foul of that particular one. But occasionally I get clients and they're like, oh, my account's like 300 quid a month. I'm like, why?
Because you don't need that. I'm an online coach now.
Yeah.
And they just service online coaches.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I need 300. I'm like, for what? They don't need to be spending 4K a year on their accountant. Like, dude, you earn 40 grand a year. That's 10% of your cash is going on your accountant. Like, it ain't worth it. So yeah, if you're a limited company and you're dividending yourself, you'll pay this 8.75% kind of tax. So your personal tax bill for paying yourself, say 50K for the year, might only look like 4 grand for the year. You're like, fucking sweet. That's a well low tax bill. Good for me. But when you dividend yourself from a company, it doesn't count as an expense. So the way corporation tax is calculated, it's about 20%. I think it starts at 19, it gets as high as 25. Yeah. I'm not sure the exact points at which it changes, so let's just call it 20%. If I earn, 5K for the month, and I paid myself a salary of 3K, the corp tax is calculated on the 2K left over, because a salary is an expense within that company. And corp tax is only calculated on profits. So I would pay 20% of the 2 grand. So I have a £400 per month corp tax bill, assuming I had no other expenses type thing. But if I dividend myself this thing, because that bit doesn't sound too bad. If I dividend it, I have a much smaller personal tax bill, but that 3 grand I just paid myself is not an expense. I have to pay a 20% corporation tax on the full 5K, which is now a £1,000 tax bill. So and by the way, you don't feel like you're any different to your company. Yes, your company is legally different, but it's you, right? You are the company.
There's no employees.
No, it's just you.
Mail comes through my letterbox.
Yeah, I know people say like you've got to think of your business's money as different from your money, and it's true, you should, but you don't. You're like, I earned that, no one else earned that. Why is it all disappearing? Right? Like,
Got a night out this weekend.
yeah, surely I can spunk this.
It's on the company.
Yeah. John gave me this cash for PTing him. I should be able to buy trainers with this. Like, you don't think of it.
I need those trainers to work.
100%. Yeah. I've got 83 pairs of trainers, but these are work expenses, obviously.
Well, you can see Nike.
I wore this on a podcast, so I'm pretty sure I can now expense this.
This is expense now.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to just put your logo on it.
Yeah, just really small.
Yeah, it's great. So, yeah, you've got these bits that you just have to start being aware of. And again, if you're between 50 and 80K a year, if you want to be a limited company, fine. If you want to stay as a sole trader, kind of fine. I don't have strong opinions on those at that point. But you do need to keep an eye on your actual expenses and go, right, I'd rather you put some money away each month that's a bit more than you need put away than not enough. Like if I'm having, when you have the financial conversation with trainers, and I have quite a lot of these with PTs that I mentor in some way, it's not usually until they're a bit further along. So if someone's earning less than 3K a month, they ain't worrying about financial plans. There's not a pension plan. There's not a savings plan. There's a fuck me, I'm broke and I need money plan, right? And so I usually find that for a lot of PTs, if they're in person anyway, we've got to get to 3K a month. They'll be like, okay. They're not balling, but they're at least not stressing about bills for the first time, which usually leads to a bit of complacency for a few months. Then they lose a few clients, like, shit, I'm down at 2,300. And then they push on again and start doing the tasks they should have been doing that they've been neglecting because they weren't so stressed. And they get to, 3.5 to 4. Then they get complacent again. And fuck, right, I'm now down at 3, 4. And then they push on. And by about the third cycle of that, I think people start getting into a bit more of I'm no longer motivated by like financial fear of shit, I need to pay for things. But they start to go, okay, I probably need a bit more of a strategy and a plan with my money. At which point then it's conversations about really boring things like how much you got to put aside for your pension and what's your savings kind of plan and what courses do you want to go on and holiday funds and, how much have you got kicking around? What goes for tax? And, even where someone is in their career, like I think if you're in the first 5 to 10 years, I mean, I know all of us still do this, you should be spending a bunch of money getting better, because that's the bit that underpins everything we do for the whole rest of this. And you've got to see that as an investment that allows you to earn more further down the line, provided you pick good people. Yeah. So,
because I liken it to like a car. Like you won't get your first car and then, I've arrived, I'll never get a new car. You'll upgrade. And then eventually you might, well, not even eventually, you'll keep upgrading as long as you're driving.
I've still got the same car since I'm born.
I didn't Lay Norton keep the same banger of a car until like about a year ago when it finally died.
I've had my car for 16 years.
16 years?
Damn.
It's my very first car.
How did you get here?
Donkey. On that car. Well, I'll tell you what, I bet you my car's done less miles than both of your cars.
Nah, how many miles it done?
70,000.
Yeah, not less than mine.
Mine's less than that.
Mine's less than that as well.
Mine's 16 years, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's done a lot less considering.
I know, that's crazy.
16
so
years
we'll ignore him's analogy, a 16-year car. Normally, normal folk will get like new car, or they'll look after the car they've got, which is again looking after yourself. And I think a lot of PTs don't have that mindset. It's I've qualified.
I think it's also though it's hard. Most PTs aren't surrounded by good role models. Like they don't see what's possible in this industry. Like I started in a leisure center for a year, and then I did 6 years at a David Lloyd, and then I did a year in a gym box, and then did 4 and a bit years in a private studio before I went kind of online. And so I wasn't really surrounded by PTs who, they were all lovely people. Like, so, if I worked with you in the past, it's not criticism of you as a person, right? They're all lovely, lovely people. Except for you, Eddie. No, I'm joking. And there was actually a guy called Eddie. There's no way he's watching this because he's got to be like 70 now. But Eddie was lovely.
I'm going to find him and send him.
We started David Lloyd the exact same day. Eddie Dubois, that guy was mental. He used to make me laugh. But anyway, that's a completely irrelevant point here. And now I've forgotten what I was saying before that. So that's good. What was I just saying?
Education. So environment.
Yes, that's right. So, I just wasn't surrounded by people who really had a career doing this. There were people scraping by, getting by on a couple of grand, $3,000 a month. If someone was doing more than $3,000 a month, they were balling, right? Kind of thing. And there weren't many people doing it who were a bit older. It was kind of like
that's what I said last time. I said that you don't really see old PTs.
No,
like beyond like 40ish. It's very few and far. So you don't know. Like no one tells you like, oh shit, you got to think about this. You got to think about this. Just I feel like we are the first
generation
of PT to be older and do it.
It's not been a serious job for a long time. Like I remember like people, you say you're going to be a PT and you'd get laughed out the room, get a real job. And I think now, and it's more so like with social media developing as well. So people, sometimes it's a full stream, but sometimes there are successful people. So people now like, actually I can do this for the long term and get something from it. So I think us being the first generation of that is coinciding with the advancements in technology that allow you to access more people.